Can you see anything? A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, half a century on from half of one back. A mother's beardless little soldier boy sees nothing but a burnished beard before a beeswax bond brokered a return to form, even unseen by a duke's whiffy fluke. That mystery's journeyman carted his wagon in a not insubstantial pageant, here instead truly a series of interesting and varied events. So shall we wander a while, just as Carnarvon's sojourner through some arcaded amusement, a once-in-a-lifetime's entertainment, providing someone with interesting and enjoyable occupation for a day longer than a wonder lasts, or a lifetime. The amuse of an amusement was amusingly born by coining's implication to entertain, perhaps delude or deceive. And so we chase more certainty, chiselling a youthful breach with a grandmother's gift, and draw back the Yellowstone wizard's vitrage for a diorama of the vitrines. Say now, can you see anything? Is there everywhere the glint of gold? The walled-up captive king's tale, as walled captions tell, both are bound by the oval and tangent line of a cartouche. Some Gallic little soldier boy's fancy of a muzzle-loading firearms paper powder cartridge. As our eyes grow accustomed to this temple for the muses, perhaps a gaze through the glaze offers things and objects in this cabinet for the curious. Material things that can be seen and touched. A thing to which a specified action or feeling is directed. A thing presented to the mind. Sequential artifacts as sequential art that we compete to capture, to seize meaning for some heading or accompanying wording to warrant our search. But what form of address is most appropriate? How shall we refer to those things like the landscape's drumlin that are an unidentified gaming piece, a ritual object, a toilet implement? An early example, typical of the period. No wonder we are not astonished, but instead weave uncertain as the word for one that intricately weaves a plait, offering no promise or assurance. How we wish our words were indeed those single, distinct, meaningful elements of speech, typically like our wunderkammered objet d'art, shown with space either side. We should therefore perhaps perlustrate, travel through and survey these aisles of wonder, to inspect all things thoroughly. Before seizing letters for the purposes of said surveillance, to decide what label, sign or signal will correctly specify its identity as something to be desired. Something that is an object, an inanimate object, that which exists, if not here, that thing that is said, a discussion, a cause or deed, an affair or business. But that thing that is an exhibit, for that thing that is an assembly of the people. Perhaps then an artifact, some object made by a human being, typically one of cultural or perhaps historical interest, or something observed that is not naturally present, something that occurs in fact as a result of our investigation itself. Perhaps we should drink of Hippocrane's waters from the Helicon Mount to call on some titanic memory, lest, like Aldrovandi's final moth-eaten dodo, our thing remains but head and claw from 1755. That's just before 6 o'clock. And how then, like Mr. Ashmole, we should perhaps simply muse a while, muster thoughts, ponder, and wonder, before we furnish our temple of muses with things we submit and permit to view. For it is the alchemy of the curating thaumaturge whose wonder-working turns base to precious with words for wonders. And we can then take our first footings amongst no footings things, as these are truly the day of days, the most wonderful we have ever lived through, and whose like we can never hope to see again. Can you see anything? Yes. Wonderful things.